2027 Audi RS5 Avant and the 2027 RS5 Sedan. It's the hottest Audi in the lineup at the moment. Recently you got to see the progressive red sedan here on the channel as I took it up the amazing Austrian Alps. The fact is that I had some time over to shoot 2 more cars on that trip. And I thought, why not show you them both in one video as well? So let's hop into this Bedford green sedan and the progressive red Avant and head up the Grossglockner Alpine Road yet again. So, let us do this. Welcome to Auditography. I have been a photo and videographer for the brand for over 20 years. I am a collector of some very unique 4-ringed icons myself, and I have also made the viral movie Speak Up for Audi. That led me to even meet the CEO, and many people high up in the company are my friends. The 4 rings is my lifestyle. Join me here in this new emotional video. First, let's take you through the a bit confusing model name change at Audi. This B10 generation Audi RS5 is actually a 5th generation RS4, especially since it only comes in sedan and Avant. The RS5 was always known to be a coupe and sportback only. That changed completely when some strange decisions were taken a few years ago by the people in charge back then. They decided that the even names were going to be electric and the uneven would be the internal combustion cars. A terrible decision, since iconic names like the RS4 Avant and RS6 Avant was going to be forced to change names to RS5 and RS7 Avant. Names with no history. Luckily, Audi's current leadership with Gernot Döllner in charge managed to revert that decision and save the RS6. But it was too late for the RS5 as the A5 and S5 were already out. It's such a big shame, since one of Audi's most popular and iconic models for 25 years, the RS4, for now goes to the grave. Therefore, at least for this generation and for now, this is the RS5 Sedan and RS5 Avant. The 2027 B10 Audi RS5 is powered by a 2.9-liter twin-turbo V6 that works together with an electric motor. The total output is 639 horses and 825 Nm of torque. That is quite a power increase from the previous B9 generation that had the 25th edition RS4 Avant as the most powerful one, with 470 horses and 600 Nm of torque. Unfortunately, since this is Audi's first hybrid RS model, it also weighs significantly more. It shows 2,300 kilos on the scale, which is 400 kilos more than the RS4. Despite that huge power advantage over the previous generation, the new RS5 is not that much faster to 100 km per hour. It takes officially 3.6 seconds to 100 km per hour, while the less powerful but much lighter RS4 needed 3.7 seconds. I do have to point out that in 2025 I managed a 3.39 seconds time with the B9 25th, while here this RS5 B10 did 3.45 seconds measured by Draghi. What is interesting is that the RS4 topped out at 300 km per hour, while this RS5 has 285 as a limited top speed. The RS5 also has an electric mode using its 25.9 kWh battery and can travel 84 km on the 130 kW electric motor only. You already know how lyrical I was over the RS5's handling skills in the previous video. It is by far the best handling RS4 RS5 ever made, despite its added weight. I remember how impressed I was with the previous RS4, where I thought Audi outdid themselves. They managed to do it here again and even stepped it up a notch. With the first quattro system with dynamic torque control in the rear transaxle, you don't feel the extra weight in the curves at all. The way it turns in makes you almost cramp in your arms during the toughest turns. That's the result of true electromechanical torque vectoring, which combines the actuator together with overdrive gears and a differential to intelligently transfer torque between the rear wheels. There is no significant difference when you drive the sedan and Avant, and both of them feel equally agile. Audi developed the bespoke RS Sport suspension with twin-valve shock absorbers for the first time in this RS5. The battery cells of the car are integrated in beneath the trunk floor to balance out the weight of the engine in the front. When it comes to the sound, the new RS5 doesn't sound bad, but it also doesn't knock your socks off. It sounds okay, and that's about it. The previous generation did sound better. And so did the one before. And the one before sounded even better than that. But that's where we are heading with the new emission regulations and electrification of everything. You do hear fake exhaust sounds coming from the speakers as well, especially when you ask somebody to hear it from the outside and then sticking his head in the car and hearing the more aggressive sound from the inside. Also, I want to pull my hair out when the soft limiter kicks in at 4000 RPM. It was lifted to 5k RPM in the previous model, so why are we going back again? The competitors don't have it, so please Audi, go back to being great again. I do also have to address the gearbox, which is not that great. It sometimes can't decide when to kick in, when to down or upshift, and is not collaborating well with the electric motor. The downshifts take forever sometimes. You can feel that more calibration and tests are needed. I miss the gearboxes from the previous generations that didn't have to deal with the hybrid powertrain at all. But I guess we have no choice in these times anyways. So overall, before you fat shame the new RS5, take it out for a spin yourself, and I promise you that you will come back with a completely different opinion. When it comes to the looks, there is no question that this RS5 is one of the most aggressively designed RS models in the history. It's a crazy 9 centimeters wider than the basic A5, and you can see the Audi DNA from far away. It looks like it spent every day at the gym in the past years. Whether you would go for the Avant or the sedan is completely up to you. For me personally, the Avant is just the perfect weapon. Owning the B5 RS4 Avant, the B8 RS4 Avant, and the C7.5 RS6 Avant myself, I think that there is nothing cooler than a fast and beefy family wagon. Having said that, I do not shame the sedan at all. It looks absolutely amazing, especially here in the Bedford green and the forged carbon fiber details. The sedan actually could be called a sportback, since the trunk opens together with the rear window, and also from the side it looks more like Audi's sleek 5-door coupe than a traditional sedan like the iconic B7 RS4. And I am sure you're aware that I own one as well. You can really see that with the coupe, cabriolet and sportback disappearing from the RS4 RS5 model program, Audi did their best to satisfy the customer with these two. So choosing between the sedan and Avant is your choice. You will not go wrong with any of these two wide-body masterpieces from Audi. If I would spec my own RS5, it would surely be some dark blue color, but then we come to a problem. Because to that, I would surely like to spec it with the classic brushed aluminum optics. That, my friends, is no longer an option. I've been very open about Audi's decision to not offer that in the new RS3 and RS5, and made a completely separate video about this very matter. So many people love the classic silver grille and mirrors on their RS models. The beautiful contrast should always be there as an option. The plastic fantastic badge is just not good enough for an Audi RS that is known for its attention to details. Remember your history and identity, Audi. You actually did remember that when you brought back the iconic RS font in the badges on this RS5. And we are so thankful for that. Please continue to do that in other areas, like for example bringing back the full model definition in the front. But overall, I think the new RS5 is an absolutely stunning car that turns heads everywhere. As positive and lyrical I have been over the exterior, I can't say the same about the interior. It's already well known that the new B10 A5 has one of the worst Audi interiors in the history, with cheap materials, strange ergonomics, screen overload, and a confusing instrument cluster. Here, Audi tried their best to improve it in the RS5 despite having the A5 interior as a base to work on. I so wish they would replace the shining piano black with other materials as in the new Q7 and Q9. But I guess it was too late to do that for Audi's new head designer Massimo Fraschella. He said it himself that he dislikes the piano black so much, and boy do we agree with him on that. I would expect it to be gone in the nearest facelift of the car. The virtual cockpit is probably one of my biggest issues here. I've said it before and I will say it again. It doesn't feel like an Audi one, and it surely isn't configurable enough. And Audi must program a better looking instrument cluster. Because this is not it. For a person like me who owns so many generation Audi RS models, I do not feel at home with this user interface at all. Audi has been class leading on instrument clusters for so long, and everybody looked up to the four rings. So Audi, open your history books and look where you are coming from. This is such an easy fix. And we surely need to address the Temu-looking steering wheel in a few sentences. I wish the RS5 had the updated airbag cover in leather with proper stitching from the recently revealed one in the A6 Allroad, new Q7 and Q9. But same story here. There was just not enough time to change it, but I am sure it will come in the facelift as well. And personally, I fear that Audi doesn't listen to the far cries of so many Audi owners to give us a proper gear shifter back. This little nibbler is removing so much of the driving pleasure. But at the same time, it's so much better than the column shifter in some new Audi models of late. That has to go ASAP, and I dream of Audi returning to some nice proper shifters in the middle in the future. Let's also hope for more physical buttons and knobs that will return. There is so much space for proper AC control buttons, for example, and yet you have to lose the focus of driving through those screens. Before I round things up, I have to yet again scream out loud to Audi about bringing back the Quattro badge in the passenger side of their RS and Quattro models. It disappeared in this very generation after 50 years of being there. You basically have a screen there already, so how hard would it be to program an iconic Quattro badge in there in the sleeping mode? Details, Audi. Details. The new 2027 Audi RS5, whether it is in the sedan or the Avant, is a stunning looking car. It's also filled with tech that impressively allows it to hide its weight. It has lots of Audi DNA. But at the same time, it lacks a lot of it, especially on the inside. It is in the smallest details that improvement has to come. Nevertheless, it is an amazing car, especially in these times with all these crazy designs that are coming out. And you think to yourself that car design is completely lost. The RS5 still looks like an Audi, and that is freaking amazing. If you can surpass its screen-heavy interior, and you're okay with a hybrid drivetrain, this is surely one of the best cars you can buy today. Thank you for watching.